Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking some incredibly fascinating architectural concepts straight from Linkspreed. The source material we're looking at proposes a massive shift, moving away from what it literally calls digital servitude and toward absolute digital sovereignty. Honestly, if you've ever felt like your data, your identity, or your online communities are just totally out of your hands, you are definitely not alone. So let's break down this proposed Web4 stack and see exactly how its creators are planning to hard code freedom right back into the internet. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the digital enslavement crisis, then explore the Web4 architecture of freedom, break down the core components, UID and Atrium, and finally, we'll visualize what true digital freedom actually looks like. All right, starting with Section 1, the digital enslavement crisis. Are we just tenants? Seriously, do you truly own your digital identity? According to the architecture we're analyzing today, the answer is a pretty hard no. The source material argues that for over 2 decades now, we've basically been operating under this illusion of connection and global community. But in practice, it claims we've all just become mere tenants on corporate digital estates. Think about it. We surrender our private identities, our behavioral data, and our fundamental rights just to get basic access to communication channels. The designers of Web4 suggest that centralized tech conglomerates have essentially positioned themselves as mandatory gatekeepers, meaning you don't actually possess digital freedom right now. You just possess a revocable lease on your digital existence. And let's be real, legacy systems have seriously struggled here. Web2 basically evolved into a massive surveillance framework. Every single login, every purchase, every social media post, it all comes at the heavy cost of identity lock-in and algorithms that dictate your expression. Now, you might be wondering, wait, didn't Web3 fix all this? Well, not exactly. Web3 absolutely decentralized financial mechanics through ledgers and tokens, sure, but it largely failed to solve the human element. Your identity and your social hubs, they mostly stayed tethered to centralized servers, proprietary corporate APIs, and these extractive middleman platforms. So the designers argue we absolutely need a new paradigm. Which brings us to Section 2, Web4, Architecture of Freedom. A multi-layer sovereign stack. So in this new Web4 paradigm, freedom is treated as the central, non-negotiable metric. It literally treats digital space as a direct extension of your human presence. The designers emphasize that freedom here isn't just some fluffy policy promise or a terms of service agreement that can be updated tomorrow. No, they claim it is hard-coded into the underlying mathematics, the cryptography, and the very architecture of the web itself. And this systemic freedom is anchored by 2 massive bookends in the tech stack. UID at layer 1 for the individual, and Atrium at layer 6 for the community. Let's look closer at that first bookend in Section 3, UID, reclaiming your identity, the cryptographic substrate. Now, what's really interesting here is the architectural comparison. With Legacy Web 2, your identity is totally unified under a single tracking index, like your email address or your phone number, and that makes it incredibly easy for advertisers to build these massive cross-site surveillance profiles on you. But UIID, which stands for Universal Integrated Identity Decoupled, does something completely different. It uses a dual-layered split identity. Basically, you have a permanent hardware-anchored core ID that you almost never disclose. And for everything else, UIID cryptographically derives these context-scoped aliases. So you get a financial alias, a social alias, a government alias. Because they're entirely split, external verifiers can literally never link those aliases back to your core ID. Even if platforms try to collude, they simply can't cross-track you. To pull off this dual-layer system without making it a nightmare to use, UID utilizes something called zero-knowledge proofs, or ZKPs. It's essentially surgical data disclosure. In legacy systems, you're stuck with a binary choice, right? You either show your entire passport and reveal all your data, or you get denied service. With a ZKP, you can mathematically prove a specific fact to a verifier, like proving you're over 18, without ever showing your actual birth date, your name, or your underlying biographic data. You stay in total control of the data you disclose, keeping it as minimal as mathematically possible. What's really cool is how this entire cryptographic identity is bound to the real world. UID integrates directly with hardware-anchored WebAuthn biometrics. That means your root identity never leaves your device's secure element, completely eliminating those massive centralized honeypots of passwords. There's even a physical UID smart card for offline zero-knowledge verifications in the real world. And honestly, the best part? You don't have to abandon your current digital footprint to use it. The architecture includes a one-click Web 2 to Web 4 migration path. It even extends this sovereign identity framework beyond humans, assigning secure identities to autonomous AI agents and hardware devices, so you always maintain administrative authority over your own digital tools. Moving up the stack to Section 4, Atrium, Liberating Social Spaces, the Layer 6 SNAS engine. The source material describes modern social media platforms as operating a lot like feudal digital monarchies. You build an audience on their platform and then quickly realize you own absolutely nothing. Well, Atrium aims to completely disrupt this model by lowering the barrier to digital sovereignty all the way to zero. Through Atrium, any community leader, creator, or organization can launch a fully customized, decentralized super app in about 30 seconds just by using an AI prompt. You instantly generate a self-contained digital sanctuary that combines chat, social feeds, and commerce, all completely free from third-party data extraction. So, a really crucial metric in this architecture is 100%. Unlike traditional platforms that lock down your user data and prevent you from migrating, Atrium ensures that creators and organizations maintain 100% ownership over their user graphs, their content databases, and their interaction records. You are no longer renting your audience from a tech giant. You own your social space entirely. And right alongside that 100% ownership is another massive metric: 0%. Web 2 platforms typically extract huge revenue shares. We're talking 30 to 50% or more from their creators. But Atrium enforces a 0% platform take rate. That means all the monetary value, all the subscriptions, all the commerce generated within a community stays entirely with the creators and the members who actually generated it. The extractive middleman is just mathematically removed from the equation. And because there's no extractive middleman trying to squeeze out ad impressions, the system aims to achieve actual algorithmic freedom. Look, we all know corporate social networks rely on those rage-inducing, engagement-driven algorithms designed to keep us endlessly scrolling. Atrium is designed to hand algorithmic control directly back to the communities themselves. You and your community decide exactly how your feeds are curated and how information flows. The designers view this as the definitive end of corporate behavioral engineering. Let's pull this all together in Section 5, Visualizing True Digital Freedom, the Unbroken Chain. Let's look at the complete paradigm shift across the major dimensions of our digital lives, because the contrast is stark. Where legacy systems lock you into centralized identity providers, Web 4 gives you unlinkable UID aliases. Where your data used to be harvested and sold to the highest bidder, you now use zero-knowledge proofs to share only what you actually want to. Instead of listing arbitrary bans and paying high take rates on rented social networks, you own your space with a 0% take rate on Atrium. And instead of black box algorithms optimizing for outrage, you have absolute feed autonomy. It's a proposed total overhaul of the internet's power dynamics. To put this into a practical, day-in-the-life perspective, imagine how frictionless this unbroken chain really is. Step 1. You enter a global online community with just a single tap of your device. Your UIID provides a context-scoped alias and a zero-knowledge proof that verifies your membership, without ever exposing your real name or IP address to the platform. Step 2. You participate and transact inside an Atrium-hosted super app, where 100% of the economic value transfers directly between members. And Step 3. If your community ever decides it's time to move, you exit with 100% of your social graph and identity credentials. Nobody can hold your data hostage. The source material summarizes this profound shift beautifully with this quote: "Freedom is no longer a privilege granted by platform terms of service, but an unalienable, mathematically guaranteed right." The designers argue that the social media era proved once and for all that surrendering our infrastructure to monopolies leads to lost privacy, economic extraction, and extreme polarization. By bridging sovereign identity with sovereign community spaces, Web 4 aims to replace the fragile permissions of corporate tech with absolute mathematical certainty. Which leaves us with one final, deeply important question to consider as you look at your own online footprint today. Are you ready to reclaim your digital sovereignty? The concepts to escape what the source calls digital servitude and build an architecture of freedom are no longer just theoretical. They are actively being developed right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to unpack the big ideas shaping our future.